Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And for the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. And that's just a sampling. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. For laptops, mobile phones, and tablets, download the Roku app. National Streaming Sports, live and on demand, sports talk for America.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now, with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the NFL Download Show. Of course, I'm your host, Mac, with co-host James Martin, the J-Train, and we have a special guest in today, one of my favorite guests I've been having on one of my shows for a few years now, Commander Nash, and he's a very proud Washington Redskins / Commander fan. I don't blame him. I mean, we wanted to get him on and talk to him since the NFC East, again, is ruling the roost, and the NFC North kind of fell out, Commander Nash. I mean, the East is in the championship, the Eagles and the Commanders.
Yeah, we all thought it was either going to be Detroit or Minnesota with the great records and the seasons they put up, but it goes to show you can't count anybody out. That's for sure.
Yes, I agree. And I mean, right now, Buffalo, to let y'all give you a quick update, Buffalo and the Baltimore Ravens are tied at 7. Great game. We'll talk about that in a little bit, too. Before that, with the Rams and the Eagles, as it came down to the last drive, and we'll talk about that. But first, since I got Commander Nash, and I want to talk about the Commanders season. And like any young team, Jay, we talked about this before. I mean, new owner, new GM, a new head coach who had been to the Super Bowl before, rookie quarterback. McClure is probably the best player that you had left over on that offensive team. Defense, very underrated, good running game. And in the beginning, you kind of had your growing pains, right? I mean, you lost to Tampa. Giants played you tough. You lost to Cincy. You beat up on Arizona. You beat up on Cleveland. Baltimore comes, and they kind of beat you. And then you put a stomping on Carolina, beat Chicago, and that everybody remembers that game where the Hail Mary came through. And I think that Hail Mary was a huge play in your season, Jay. I think it showed it gave you guys belief that not only Jaden Daniels was there, that maybe you were a team that had something to say this year.
Oh, absolutely. We did beat the Bengals that Monday night. We went in Cincinnati. We did beat the Bengals. But the Tampa Bay game, that was the first game of the season, so that was kind of like a gelling game. So I wasn't really hurt that we lost that game. But like you said, with the new ownership, new coach, Washington knew what the owners, when they came into Washington, they knew what they needed to do. They needed to rebuild from the top to the bottom. And it shows that when you do that and you bring in the right talent and you finally get a quarterback that, he played all 16 seasons and the team rallied behind him. he's not even playing like a rookie. And then they knew that you had to bring in veterans to help support a young cast team. They went out and got them with Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner, Luva from Carolina Panthers. They just put the right pieces in. Nobody had us winning 12 games. I'm a fan. I've been a fan for 40 years. I said 10. I would have been happy with 10 wins as a realistic Washington fan. But for us to win over 10 games and then finally get a playoff win, we haven't won a playoff game since Joe Gibbs came back in 2005 when we beat Tampa. That was back when we still had Sean Taylor and Mark Brunell. We won 2 playoff games. We ain't did that since the 91 Super Bowl season. So we have definitely exceeded expectations. And I do feel now comfortable that we have a quarterback that we can build on for years to come and hopefully finally have another fucking Hall of Fame quarterback other than Sonny Jurgensen and Sammy Ball.
Old Sonny Jurgensen, the old sidearm. I think he's a good quarterback. You could throw the ball behind his back for 30 yards. That guy was impressive. So you guys lose to Pittsburgh, you lose to Philly and Dallas, and then you kind of start gelling. You come back, you beat Philly, you beat Dallas. I mean, you beat Atlanta. You run the table as you beat Atlanta, you beat Dallas, you beat Tampa. Was it Tampa Bay? That's the wrong guy. But you beat Detroit, of course. You won the playoff game, against Tampa, and then you beat Detroit in the playoffs. It looks like you're peaking at the right time. I mean, we know that, you go up against Detroit, who looks like maybe they peaked too early. I don't know. Minnesota, maybe they peaked too early. I'm not sure. It's hard to keep winning every game, as we saw from the Patriots and any perfect season that people are trying to play. It's very hard to win every week, but you guys are getting hot at the right time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a lot of our games has been close. I was there for a lot of it. And the biggest thing with Washington this year, our home record. We've always had a losing record at home, but now I think we only lost to Pittsburgh and Dallas at home. But that's saying something. We haven't seen that in years. The Pittsburgh game was close, but like you said, and I think I agree too, when I was at that, when we played the Bears, the Hail Mary game, the energy, I think that's what lifted the team, and ever since then it's been on a roller coaster. You see what happened to the Bears after that game. They went one way, we went the other way.
Yeah, no doubt. And, Magic Johnson is a hell of a PR guy, right? I mean, he's in there. He's a great spokesperson for y'all. He's with the team. He's congratulating the team. I think you have a heck of he's a minority owner, but I think he's involved in the PR part of it. And who else would you want there but Magic Johnson? I mean, the guy is smooth as silk, right?
Absolutely. You can have, Harris is majority owner, but why not have an owner of committees? People with different personalities, different backgrounds. A lot of people said that, we're just run by basketball. We're just run by basketball minds, but I beg to differ. Look what they did in a year. So,
yeah. Buffalo just came up with an interception. Hamlin intercepted the ball. Buffalo's got the ball on their side of the 50, 1st and 10. We'll see. Maybe Buffalo's here. I don't know. I thought they really haven't ran Derrick Henry enough yet. I mean, they just kind of ran him a couple times. You don't run Derrick Henry, you're going to lose this game. There's no doubt about it in my mind. So
right, we
got you here. So let's get your opinion on the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs, great season. They ended up being 15-2. The last game, Broncos. You can throw that out, right? So, anyway, what are your thoughts on the way the refs? It is being said in Facebook that the refs are kind of, in Kansas City's pocket, that they're kind of helping Kansas City win these ball games. You got to admit, there's been some really calls in their favor this year.
Oh, absolutely. I think Troy Aikman came out and spoke against it as well. But, I mean, you look at the Chiefs, they, like you said, they lost 2 games. The one against Denver, end of the season, don't matter. The only other game they lost happened to be the Bills, but that was in Buffalo. So you're undefeated at home, and you're making another playoff run. But then again, I mean, we all know the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and the next New England Patriots dynasty run. For you to beat the Chiefs, you're going to have to run the ball, and you got to run the score on them. And I think the winner of the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills can go in Kansas City and do that. So hopefully one of them teams will step up and go make a run to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm kind of voting against the Chiefs now too. I was hoping for them to three-peat in the beginning of the year. Now, after watching last game and I'm tired of them now. I'm sick of the Chiefs, and I hope they get beat by either Buffalo or Baltimore. So
Yeah, those plays were a bit sketchy, I would think, as well. I mean, just
yeah,
with the ref involved, I mean, there was clearly no, I mean, the first one, maybe the hand touched the face just slightly, but the other two plays where he kind of tries to invoke, or he tries to get the player to hit him while he's in bounds. And I mean, there should be something. Rules need to be changed at some point next year, and they need to penalize the quarterbacks. Because I remember him, Patrick Mahomes, that is, one of these games. He was going to run out of bounds, and so the defensive player slowed up. And then when he slowed up, he took off and ran for another 15, 20 yards. I mean, what are you supposed to do as a defensive player with this type of behavior?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, I agree. Go ahead, Jay.
I mean, we all know growing up watching football, and I'm sure Matt even more, that it used to be a defensive league. Now it's just offense, and now it's just even favoring more the Chiefs with their offense. Is like you said, what can you do as a defensive player? And it shows in some of our games too. Lattimore, I mean, he had some of the calls, but some of the calls, was unjustified. As a defensive player, you really, once you put your hands, you're pretty much already guilty. He'll prove it innocent in this league now.
Well, what I'm watching the Ram game and the Eagle game. I'm watching this game right now. Listen, they're not holding back hitting these quarterbacks. They're not. I mean, as soon as they start running with the ball, they're cracking them. And it seems it's different from Mahomes. When he runs with the ball, you're not supposed to hit him, and it's just wrong. So the tight end just flopped.
I think he has the Michael Jordan treatment. I mean, you're the face of the league. He's the face of the league. Tom Brady was the face of the league before. Quarterbacks before that, they didn't really give like a lot of preferential treatment to them because I mean everybody was just fair game. You take off running, you're gonna get hit. You take a hit, and that was it. But now you can barely touch the guy. You push him wrong. Even when he's throwing the ball, it's a borderline penalty for roughing the passer.
I agree.
Absolutely.
So the Rams in Philadelphia, I thought it was a great game. Saquon got his, and it seemed like the Rams had to answer every time that the Eagles scored. The Rams came back, and on Stafford's arm, they answered it with their own touchdown. Saquon Barkley is a weapon, right? He's not just a running back. He's not just a receiver. The guy can take the ball to the house from anywhere on the field, whether he catches it, runs with it. And that offensive line of the Eagles, Jay, kind of reminds me of the Hogs. You know what I mean? I mean, they're big, they're strong, they'll knock you down, they'll pancake block you. I mean, they seem and they do a lot of counters too, like the old Redskins did. They seem to have the best offensive line in the league right now.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody always focuses on A.J. Brown and Smith, and now they got Dotson from us. They got the receiver core and Goddard, of course, the tight end, but you can't lose faith in Barkley. Barkley, the Giants let him go, and he went to Philadelphia, had a 2,000-yard season, and I really would believe he would have broke the rushing record if he would have played against the Giants. But I mean, record's been set since '84. But you can't rule out. And then Barkley's always been a thorn in our side, even with the Giants. We have no answer for him, and it showed the last game. And if Jalen Hurts didn't get hurt in that last game in Washington, we would have lost that game. It changed a big factor when Hurts went out. That's going to be the key for us. We're going to have to slow down Barkley and try to keep Hurts in containment. It's going to be a good game. I don't think we'll be blown out since we know each other well throughout the season. We already played each other twice, but you can't count Philadelphia out. And as a Washington fan, we know they're going to bring it up in their stadium. Man, it's going to be a great game, and we haven't been this close to the Super Bowl in over 30 years, so I'm enjoying the ride either way.
And it's awesome, Jay. Oh, sorry. It's very awesome, Jay. I agree. I mean, it's been since 1992, I believe, with Mark Rippon at the helm. So now you got You got Jaden Daniels, my guy from LSU, man. I'm really proud of him, and I'm excited for him, honestly. But with that said, you go into the NFC Championship against the Philadelphia Eagles. I was telling Mac earlier today that, or yesterday, that Washington is ranked 30th against the run. I mean, even though you beat Detroit yesterday with a great score, you still gave up 200 yards. What does that say for having, like you just said, not having Saquon Barkley? Not having Jalen Hurts last time you played him. What are you going? Is Washington going to do to be able to slow down? Because they're not going to stop him. But how can they slow down Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley in this game to try to get that win?
Absolutely. Like you said, we could have stopped Detroit's running game. And Detroit had, I think, 13 to 14 defensive players on IR. So if they would have had their defensive players, who say what the outcome would have been? But for our defense, we did get Jonathan Allen that came back. He got hurt. He was gone most of the season. That's a great leader on the defensive line with Wagner calling the plays. But you have to stop Barkley. And like you said, we couldn't stop him either game. So do we stack the box and hope our corners go man-to-man against their three best receivers? I mean, Smith is a Heisman Trophy winner. A.J. Brown has always gave us trouble. Lattimore is just coming back, but we've seen Lattimore struggle against Mike Evans. And that's somebody who's played against twice a year when he was in New Orleans. I really don't have faith on our secondary going man-to-man against Philadelphia. I mean, what can you do against Barkley? We haven't had an answer yet. Our linebackers, Luva and Wagner, I mean, they could try to spy him, but then you got to worry about Hurts. Hurts could take off and break us too. I think the key for Washington, I was at the draft when we got Daniels. It was a great sign. Daniels is going to have to run less. I think he's going to have to rely more on Eckler and Robinson. Run the ball, keep Philadelphia's offense off the field as much as possible. Don't go for the home run pass unless we're down. Don't pass. Like Brady, manage the game 5-10 yards, keep the clock, and hopefully it'll keep it close into the fourth quarter. And we all know if Washington's close in the fourth quarter, anything can happen. So that's going to have to be the key. Offense has got to control the game.
I agree. I don't think you could stop the Eagles, so you're going to have to outscore them. And I think that's possible. I think the wild card is your quarterback. He is so calm. Yeah, they called Matt Ryan Matty Ice. I mean, he's got ice going through his veins, this kid. I mean, it's like, okay, he smiles. He looked a little excited after last game. So that's as excited as I've seen him all year. I mean, because you're going to the championship. But I think you got McClure. You got two good running backs. And as you saw, the Rams could run the ball on the Eagles. You can run the ball on the Eagles. You can. So if you can run the ball, Jaden Daniels is accurate, hits McClure, hits Hurts, hits the tight end. I think it's Hurts. And spreads the ball around. I think you guys can outscore the Eagles. So maybe you guys win 38-35 or, something like that. I don't think if it's a defensive battle that you guys win this game.
Absolutely not. It's going to be, like you said, I think it's going to be another scoring like the last previous game was up 30 versus 30. But look at this team. This is the first time we had a Pro Bowl quarterback because Daniels led in Pro Bowl voting for quarterback. McLaurin's going to the Pro Bowl. It's the first time we had a quarterback and receiver since Mark Rippon in the 91 season. We had 4 All-Pros since the 91 season. So that tells you, man, we're going in the right direction. It's so exciting. It's unbelievable. Everybody's like, how do you feel about your team? Y'all got 12 wins. I was like, I waited 30 years of my life to see this.
Is it a curse that you guys are this good this year? I mean, next year, remember that the Giants went to the playoffs, won a playoff game. There have been other teams that have gone to the playoffs, and the following year, championships. The following year, all of a sudden, they're back where they were before. Do you think there's a not a curse, but there's a little danger here that maybe you guys kind of fall back a little to earth next year?
The sophomore jinx. Second year, everybody got film. They watched the quarterback. They got idea. With us, I think it's different because in Washington, if you do not produce, they let you loose. So I think that they're going to build the offensive line. I think they're going to go out and get a cornerback. I think they're going to establish what we need. And I think we could easily keep this going 10-plus win season next year as well. The ownership's all in, and the team's all in, the morale, the brotherhood. I mean, no, I don't think we will. I don't think we slump next year. I think we keep riding and climbing.
Good
I
evening to
think
Sonia
big
from
time.
Prim and Proper Sports. Thanks for tuning in, Sonia.
What you need to do though is
Right.
they need to keep building. When you said they need that you keep driving next year, what you need to do is make sure you draft well. It's which all of us, all teams do, but yeah, draft well and continue to build defensively and offensively. Get some free agents, man. Obviously, you got some older guys there in Wagner, which is great having a great leader and linebacker there. You know, he's all pro with the Seattle Seahawks all a long time there. But you're going to need some help in that linebacking core and probably maybe another DB or two. But and I really like De'Ami Brown. I think stepping up big time to help McLaurin, Terry McLaurin, to be that number 2 guy. And as you saw yesterday, that pass, man, that drop in the bucket to him, his face was almost covered, and he still took it in. It was very clutch play.
Yeah, because De'Ami Brown was from the Ron Rivera era. He's still on the team. And he had, I mean, with Brown getting hurt, when he made that Hail Mary catch against the Bears, somebody had to step up when he went down. And I love what Brown did against Tampa. And he's always had potential. He just had never had a chance with the receiving core. But I agree with you 100%. His face was covered. And the way Daniels dropped that right in there, that shows you, man, he's not a rookie. A lot, even Campbell from the Lions, everybody that plays Washington says he's not your average rookie quarterback. He's so humble and poised. He knows what to do. He don't turn the ball over. He's just he's a great fit. When I was at the draft in Detroit, I know everybody said we should get Williams. I wanted Daniels, and I'm so glad we got Daniels. He has made such an impact on Washington, and I do believe he will be announced Rookie of the Year this year as well. So we haven't had a Rookie of the Year since RG3, so I can't wait for him to get that as well. Well deserved.
Wow.
Well,
yeah,
hopefully,
RG3.
hopefully, what happened to RG3 does not happen to Jaden Daniels, right? We're not
Correct.
we're not going to think about that. NFC East next year. If you look a little bit ahead, right? You got Dallas, who's looking for a coach. Now, this coach has to deal with Jerry Jones, and on the show we kind of went through it. Sonia, who's commenting now, me, James, Jack Hirsch, Ian. We're looking at Dallas, and we're saying, well, you know, maybe Saleh takes that head coach because he's really calm and laid back. Maybe it's Kellen Moore, the former, you know, not the former, but the Eagle offensive coordinator right now. Maybe he becomes a coach, but that kind of gives you guys a jump and this year, and the Eagles, because they're going to have Sirianni will be back, no doubt. So you guys are solid right now. You got your coach, you know, you got your quarterback. The Giants are going to be. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do for quarterback next year. Hopefully, they can get either a good free agent or maybe a quarterback in the lower rounds. But I mean, the two positions that I would worry about as being a GM would be my head coach and my quarterback. And you and the Eagles both have that set for next year.
Yeah, Quinn. I know Quinn ain't going nowhere. I mean, he's done great. But like we were saying, we just discussed, we got to build in the draft. We got to address the issues. Wagner's not going to be around forever. We definitely need to get a couple linebackers, cornerback. Definitely got to keep up with the Eagles. We know the Eagles are going to be in contention next year as well. Dallas going through the coaching phase, and then I mean they're going to. I think they're not in a complete rebuild, but they're going to take time to get their team back together. If I was a Cowboy fan, I mean Jerry Jones needs to get a GM. If I was him, I would step down and let a GM come in and run the team and just, you know, let him pick his coach. Let him have control. Is just step down and just enjoy the game. Because Dallas, now they're in the longest drought to go to an NFC championship game. So if the same thing ain't working, you need to have a complete change like Washington did. And I think if Dallas did the same thing, they could have the change and start going back to winning like they did in the 90s as well.
Well, you know that's not going to happen.
No.
That's not going to happen. Jerry Jones is not giving up that, not giving up the ring on that. That's not happening. He thinks he's,
Not at all.
I mean, you know, he played football and he's, you know, he could probably coach. I mean, I would imagine if he possibly could do it, he'd go down there and coach himself. But
Absolutely.
I think he would. I really do. So, you know, we got right now the Chiefs are awaiting the Bills in Baltimore. Right now listen, wow, holy good. They just scooped up the fumble and the Buffalo just returned it down to about the 23. Jackson with another turnover. Wow. I mean, this I knew it was going to come down to this. Who turns the ball over more? Jackson with an interception and now with a fumble. And he's getting mad again. Hopefully he doesn't start slamming his helmet or the game's over. Buffalo will win this.
That was a bad snap, man.
Bad snap, but
Totally
he got
bad.
it. But he got it back. I mean, you got to protect that ball.
Well, by the time he turned around, the guy was right there in his face. So I mean,
Yes.
you can't make any mistakes against a team like Buffalo. That's just what it comes down to.
Yes, he did fumble it after he faked the pass and then I don't know what the hell he was doing there, but anyway. So it's still 7-7, and I think this is going to be a real good game. Let's take a look and see what you guys think if Baltimore beats Buffalo today and they play Kansas City. How do you think that game turns out? Commander Nash, you're our guest, so we'll let you go first. So Baltimore beats Buffalo. They go play Kansas City. Do you think Baltimore can finally get over that hump, or do you think Kansas City with Mahomes is just too much magic?
Well, I mean, they played in the AFC Championship game, and Baltimore came close, but they didn't have Derrick Henry. And they played this year, Kansas City got. I think if Baltimore beats Buffalo, I think they can go in Kansas City, and I think they can beat the Chiefs. Derrick Henry is going to have to be the factor. They're going to have to run the ball. They got to keep Mahomes off the field. They're going to have to run it. That's what you paid the man. That's what you brought the man in for. He almost had a 2,000-yard season. I think Baltimore's got more of a motivation and an edge and aggression to go in there than Kansas City does. I think Kansas City's already thinking about the three-peat.
Yes, I would agree. What do you think, James? You think, just like I asked him, you think Baltimore maybe can do it this time, or does Mahomes just have, Baltimore's number?
I think I picked Kansas City to get back to the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season, but looking at how they're getting there right now, they're winning by any means necessary, and it's very tight every game. I think it's going to be a little tough for them. I think I'm going to have to change my pick. I think the winner of this game is going to go to Kansas City and upset them. Either Buffalo or Baltimore. They're going to go there and upset them because this is the game here. I think these are the two best teams right now in football. These are the two best teams. I mean, on either side, whether it be NFC or AFC. These are the two best teams that are in football right now. To me, Kansas City, they're great. They got 15 wins, but I mean, again, it's just you're looking at, and I hate to even say the help from the refs and stuff like that too, and all those games that were decided by a few points or less. It's just so many different things. I mean, they're getting there, they're there, but I just think these teams are more dominant in how they're playing, and these are like the two best teams playing each other. So one of these two teams are going to make it, and they're going to go there and upset Kansas City at home. I'm saying it here on
Buffalo
NFL
just went
Down.
for a touchdown.
They did.
Yep.
Okay, well, first of all, you can't change your pick from the beginning of the year. That was your pick at the beginning of the year, James. You can't wait at the end and then change your pick. That's not how it works. You pick a future pick, okay? If you want to pick against them now, you can, but I mean, you can't change your original pick. It doesn't work that way.
No, I think I can stick with that. I picked the Kansas City Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl and to lose to the Eagles. That's what I picked at the beginning of the season. So it's all in that direction. But what I'm looking at from the optics, these two teams look better than Kansas City.
So Buffalo goes in. They're up 14-7 now. Question with Buffalo. Listen, Kansas City went to Buffalo and lost. I don't know. I mean, listen, I want Kansas City to lose. I really do. I really do. I wanted them to, like as I said before, I want them to three-peat. I want them to lose now. I just don't know, man. It's like they're always the fourth quarter. Kansas City is always down by 6 points or 4 points, and there's 2 minutes left, and they get the ball, and it's like, just turn the TV on. Because you know who's going in the game. You know Patrick Mahomes is going to march him down the field. He's probably going to throw the ball at Kelsey. Kelsey's going to either lateral it to somebody, or they're going to end up, or he's going to end up scoring a touchdown. I mean, it just seems that way for the last 3 out of 4 years. So
yeah, I mean, everybody thinks Kansas City with the home field advantage, but don't forget Cincinnati went in Kansas City and got that win too. But you got Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, 2 MVP candidates. You can't forget Barkley, an MVP candidate as well with his 2,000-yard season. So then you got the Rookie of the Year, Daniels in the playoffs. Man, this is a great time to the playoffs.
Oh, stop saying he's the Rookie of the Year. I mean, for the regular season.
Come on, man.
It doesn't count. The playoffs don't count. Come on.
The regular season stats are the best. The quarterback of the rookies, he has the best stats.
Who was the best wide receiver this year? The best wide receiver, rookie wide receiver this year, Malik Neighbors. Broke all kinds of records.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Regular season. It's not
but Jay, you know it's the quarterback of the year, man. Come on. You know he's gonna win that.
Yeah, we'll see. So let's turn to that real quick. We made some predictions as far as who the Rookie of the Year, the Coach of the Year, all this stuff would be. Let's see. For the NFC Rookie of the Year, I guess I put James and Commander Nash down for Jay. All right, we'll do that. Daniels, Coach of the Year. I mean, it's hard because it seems they don't give the Coach of the Year to a team that's really good. Like, I mean, during the season, I guess you could put some of the better coaches, Andy Reid, Campbell, were good all year. It seems like they give it to a coach that kind of makes it in. So you could say the Commanders coach. Why don't we just give it to all the Commanders? And that way,
no.
Commander Nat. Yeah, you can't stop smiling. So I mean, anyway,
you can't rule out Minnesota. You can't rule Minnesota out. Minnesota drafted a quarterback. He gets hurt. They went out and got Darnold. And who would have thought Darnold played good enough to get them what they got? You can't rule Minnesota out either.
All right. So the Coach of the Year in the NFC, who do you got again, James?
For me, I mean, look, I'm it's between Kevin O'Connell or Dan Quinn because of what they've done with Little. The little they had, and they've succeeded far beyond expectations of what their season was projected to be. And so I would have of the two. If I have to pick one, I'm going to pick the coach that to me that had less. They didn't have a defense like Minnesota, and don't have the coordinator like Brian Flores. So I'm going to go with Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn. Okay, Commander Nash, are you going to agree with that, or are you going to give me somebody else?
I mean, of course, everybody's going to put Dan Quinn up there, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I really think I'm leaning towards what Minnesota did. Look at the division. Green Bay went to the playoffs. Detroit was already, after what they did last year, it was already pretty much given. But nobody gave Minnesota a chance to hang in that division. So I think with what the Vikings did and found a quarterback and still build around Darnold and still was able to put up the season they did, even though they didn't get the win in the playoffs. But I'm going to lean towards Minnesota.
Oh, come on, Commander, man. Don't be humble like that, man. Nobody thought you guys would do anything. I mean, don't get me wrong. Nobody thought Minnesota would do anything either.
Right.
I mean, at least they had a really good defense. You guys you have an okay defense, but I mean, look what you're doing. I mean, but regular season, regular season, I do think that Dan Quinn, again, I projected them to be at the bottom of the NFC East. At the bottom.
At the bottom of wow.
Yeah.
I had maybe second or third.
So we're definitely not going to give it to McCarthy. That's what you're saying, right? We're not going to give it to McCarthy.
Nah, we can roll that one out.
Okay. So we got Dan Quinn or O'Connell. Listen, I think that, again, you got Sirianni, who the Eagles played good all year for them. The NFC South, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach, who did a real good job over there. And the Rams head coach, listen, they made it. Who thought the Rams were going to win that division? Who thought that they were going to go into playoffs and play as well as they did? So, I mean, there's a few of them. I would go with Dan Quinn too, to be honest with you, because it is.
You made a good point. You did make a good point. The Eagles coach, like you said, you got to consider that consideration. Tampa Bay, if it wasn't for the division the way it was, I mean, they pretty much kind of locked it up towards the end. And like you said, nobody counted the Rams either. The 49ers fell off. Seattle. I mean, yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. The coach of the year in the AFC, another tough one. You know, you've got the Ravens coach who coached well. In fact, both the Harbaugh brothers coached really well this year. Either one, I think, could be considered. Andy Reid, I think you should consider. So, you know, and of course the head coach at Buffalo, and you know, did a great job for them too. I think what they lost, did they lose any at home this year? I forget.
No.
Yeah, I mean, great job by him too. So, if you were going to give me the AFC Coach of the Year, Commander Nash, who would you give me?
Oh man, this is hard. The AFC is so hard. I mean, the Chiefs are always expected to do high things. Oh man, because the Ravens, man, this is tough. Oh man, but you can't get out the Chargers. Nobody counted the Chargers to get in the playoffs with the Chiefs in the division. And how about the Broncos? Look what Sean Payton did with the Broncos with Bo Nix. I mean, that's pretty impressive too for them to get where they got. Oh, this is a tough decision. This is really tough.
I agree.
I'd probably go with Buffalo for the simple fact that they didn't lose at home and they're hanging now. You might have to wait till after the playoffs and they this one.
Yeah. Yes. Baltimore just completed the pass down there to the 1 yard line. So it looks like they got a shot at scoring here too. Maybe get another touchdown and tie this thing up. Going back and forth as we thought it would. I guess Commander Nash had to leave. he popped off real quick. Maybe he'll come back. Okay. Anyway, yeah, he's so hyped he hung up. I guess he could have maybe had to go see the
maybe
game.
he's never around pressing buttons accidentally.
Yes, he got all excited. I don't know if he's drinking liquor or not. Well, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's been a great year so far, and I don't know. You got the Eagles and the Chiefs playing for the Super Bowl. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that I do have and I had the Eagles beating the Chiefs.
Okay. All right. So, anything else you wanna talk about here, James?
Let me say that if I had to pick a coach from the AFC in regards to being coach of the year, it's going to be Jim Harbaugh. It's going to be Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, I think. Okay.
He started with nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. I mean, you got a quarterback there, but it was shaky. You didn't know what he was going to be like. The past couple of seasons weren't all that great. So yeah, I mean, Jim comes there and he does a complete 180 with that team. Sean had one season already with Russell Wilson. So I mean, again, don't get me wrong. He got Bo Nix in there, and he changed my mind on Bo Nix. I think there's going to be a bright future there, but I just think Jim Harbaugh, again, just already right the ship with that team. They just need to continue to add to that team, just like Denver needs to as well.
All right. Okay. I mean, we got Rookie of the Year, we got Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. We did go over this on the Sunday Big Football show. It was cool going over with because we could remind people what we did with having Commander Nash on there. I appreciate it, Sonia, but I mean, I don't know what else is there more to talk about tonight. Only 2 games that we reviewed, 4, but 2 games going on tonight. I would, if there was more games going on and we talk more next week, we'll only have 2 games, period. So it's starting to get a little, a little drawn out. Maybe we start talking NBA. Maybe we start talking other sports, and we'll just call it the sports download. How's that sound, James? We'll do something like that.
That works. I'm all for it, my man. All for it.
Me too. So, Panthers go into the Super Bowl 60. Yeah, 60 years, Sonia, or Super Bowl 60? What do you? All right, folks, I want to thank you for joining us. Sonia, thank you for sharing the show. Love it. Thanks to Commander Nash coming on. Love having him on. And we will see you soon. Wednesday night, I'll be on with James. Tomorrow with Jack on Mac and Spats. Mac and Jack's Spats. Yeah. That's my new name for Jack and Spats. If you want to call him that, you can. The Mac and Jack Sports Show Wednesday night. You'll see James, Sonia, and the rest of us on. Thanks for, like I said, thanks for chiming in. We will see you soon, everyone. Have a great day.